Before we get into all of this, let's take a walk together. Maybe you weren't paying attention or this is going to be your introduction to the game. I'm going to talk through the introductory moments, pointing your eyes to details that were placed to give the vessel, and by extension the game, a tangible feel. You can call this a spoiler if you want, but in reality it's just a small part of the game and has no real relevance except for world building. And I hope by talking about it I can help to show the care that was put into making this world feel tangible right from the start. You pull back from a monitor rather than fade in, giving the load screen a real presence in the world. I would also like to note the ambience, but lack of music. You can look around, but you are limited. You can see some small details around you, but quickly a voice points you to the screen above.
The following instructional video is a
Note that this voice isn't asking, it's telling you. It becomes clear that your experience as a player matches up with your in-game characters. It's simply their first day on the job, the very same as yours with the game. I want to also point out that the friendly company is a trope in video games that many of us know, and so the innocuous intro video becomes a sort of tone setter for a lot of us.
Chart the planet and gather resources to provide desired results and improve your infrastructure. Make sure to report any unusual discoveries to R&D for analysis. Expand your factories, outposts, and pipelines through automation and augmentation. That's it. Get to work and be
As the video fades out, the screen moves back up and places the focus onto a small window. At this point, the drop pod starts moving.
Atmospheric entry in 5.
Both the containers on the side and the strap attached to your multi-tool move independently, showing the forces that are acting on you. Even if you don't see it outright, your mind is already getting context to the physicality of the game world. Even the difference in force and speed is conveyed in a great way. The jarring force of re-entry gives way for a more controlled slow. Then you land. As your character goes to leave, he uses the mechanisms that you have had in front of you this entire time to physically open the door, further adding to the tangibility of this vessel.
Remember, efficiency first. Godspeed.
And wow, what an introduction. I call this type of introduction the drop, and it is mostly used as a lazy way of simply dropping the player into the world. With just some added details and world building, Satisfactory shows that the way you introduce your players into the world is incredibly important and can change the entire mindset each player has from the moment they get their hands on it. Compare this to Ark. You wake up on a beach. Okay, cool. What do I do? What's my purpose? I don't even have context to my location. I have no sense of scale, nor do I fully understand the scope of my goal. And I'm not saying that this is bad, it's a part of the survival game experience, but this is where you have to ask, if you're playing a survival game, don't you understand what you are there for? And the answer is of course, but that's not the point nor what we are here to talk about. Simply understanding the player's expectations does not mean you can simply shrug off world building and immersion factors. Many games struggle on this front, and I think that's why so many developers are so scared of trying new or different things when it comes to gaming introductions. While tutorials are mostly inoffensive, I think they squander the potential that video games offer to us. In just a couple short minutes with the game, you have added the game's main goal, given the world a tangible feel, and established that you are just as knowledgeable as the avatar you're inhabiting. And this is so powerful in creating a real, meaningful connection between the player and the avatar. Some games spend hours doing this through shared experiences and the like. Satisfactory just sits you down, tells you what you and your avatar are in for, and slaps you both on your respective bottoms before throwing you literally into the world. It even destroys the proverbial horse you rode in on to really drive the point home. And what a cool idea that the player has to disassemble the one thing that they landed onto the planet with. The one tether we have to anything not native to this planet, and we have to break it down. Only then do you really interact with the world around you. This whole sequence is both insanely smart and extremely clever. By stripping players of anything that is familiar, even if it was only for a brief time, you give the option to go and do whatever they wish. For some, this is freeing. For others, this is terrifying. Directly compare this to Subnatica, one of my other favorite game introductions. It has a similar drop-in type setup. At the end, rather than destroying the craft that brought you here, it establishes that this is an anchor for you. There are constant healing items, you can always craft here, and there is a radio to connect you to help. It's clearly set up as a safe haven, and at no point in the game does anything truly threatening come to your life pod. Could you imagine if you had to destroy that? How much it would amplify the fear factor on your first playthrough? I just wanted to point out 2 games using a very similar opening in creative and smart ways. I love it when games are aware of the player's mentality when approaching a game and using their choices to either increase the player's feelings of freedom or help make them feel safer in a hostile world. This type of creativity is what makes for truly great games. Everyone talks about how immersive the story-based games can be, and even how immersive certain atmospheric games can be as well. But I'll be damned if these 2 games didn't have my full attention through the sheer power of their introductions alone. Both excel in their own ways in terms of both a sense of scale and tangibility of their worlds, and you would be stupid to pass either of them up even if you don't complete them. The introductions in the first 10 to 20 hours are just so magical for each of these great games. I think I've made my point. If you're watching this and thinking, wow, this weird factory game looks neat, please do yourself a favor and pick this game up. I won't show footage of this, but know one of the first major goals you get to, creating a space elevator, has some of the most awesome sense of scale moments that I've ever seen in a game. I'll keep spewing about this game until I die, even if I haven't played as much as of the time of writing this. If I had friends to play with, I'd be so down for throwing my life away. Wink, wink, subtle nods. Thanks for watching. What do you think makes a great video game introduction? Let me know in the comments. Or maybe I'm just batshit crazy and I have no idea what I'm talking about. Subscribe if you'd like to see more of that.